What is going on, wrestling fans? It is WWE at Home 219 with my friend Aaron here, and we're going to predict Money in the Bank. Starting off with the pre-show, you have the tag team champions Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, two members of the Shield, facing off against the Usos, and this is a no-brainer in my opinion. You're going to take Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins to win this matchup with ease. There's no reason for the Usos to become tag team champions right now.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. There's no point to have the Usos become tag team champions. They don't have any opponents for the Shield right now. They don't have any opponents worthy of beating the Shield right now. So it wouldn't make sense for them to lose. So Shield very handily. I'm gonna go with that one.
So then, what I'm expecting to be the first matchup of the night will be probably the Intercontinental Championship, as Curtis Axel looks to defend his title against The Miz. Now, I'm not expecting too bad of a matchup. Actually, I think it'll actually be pretty decent. But kind of like with the Shield matchup, I just don't see any benefit coming out of a new title change, especially when The Miz has been an on and off champion for a while now. I'm going to take Curtis Axel to continue his momentum and defend his Intercontinental title and win probably with the perfect flex.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I think right now there's no better guy right now, especially with Paul Heyman than Curtis Axel. I think he's going to hold the Intercontinental belt for a while. The Miz is definitely not a guy I think that is worthy of taking it from him. I don't think they have a guy right now, so I like the whole Curtis Axel thing. So I'm going to go with Curtis Axel. Pretty much taking that one.
All right. So the next matchup is the Divas Championship. AJ looks to defend her title against Caitlyn. Um, I was actually earlier thinking about picking AJ, but I'm going to change my mind and I'm going to take Caitlyn to win back her Divas title. Now, the reason I am saying this is because I feel like there's not enough Divas to contend for a title. And this feud that they got going on with AJ and Caitlyn, they put on a decent matchup at Payback, and I actually think they're going to want to keep prolonging this feud. So I'm going to actually take Caitlyn to win back that Divas title at Money in the Bank.
Well,
Paul George.
yeah, Paul George. I'm gonna go with AJ. I feel like these two are the only ones who are title worthy, I guess, right now. But I think AJ's the best they have, and she's the most entertaining. So, I mean, with the Divas division as bad as it is right now, I think it would make most sense to have AJ still champ. Maybe they could continue the feud still. I could see that possibly happening with something happening, but I'm gonna take AJ right now.
So then we have a random match with Ryback and Chris Jericho. Not much build to this at all. I could basically care less. This is probably my least match I'm looking forward to. And I guess I'm going to pick Ryback to win just because Jericho's here to put people over, and the fact that Ryback hasn't won at a pay-per-view, and I don't even know how long. I don't think he's ever even won at a pay-per-view, to be honest with you. So I'm going to take Ryback to defeat Chris Jericho with the Shell Shock, and it probably will send Chris Jericho on his injury storyline, because if I'm not mistaken, he's supposed to go back on tour with his band Fozzy.
Well, see, what I'd like to happen is Jericho to win and to put Ryback on an injury story because I think Ryback needs some time off. He's he's rock bottom right now. But like Kyle was saying, I think I'm going to take Ryback now. I feel like it'll get him a good win at a pay-per-view against a very quality opponent and somehow maybe bring back to life his pretty dead character right now. So as much as I don't want to see it, I'm going to take Ryback.
So then we have the World Heavyweight Championship Money in the Bank ladder matchup. You got guys like Damian Sandow, Cody Rhodes, Antonio Cesaro, Jack Swagger, Fandango, and Dean Ambrose. And it's basically the future of the WWE's in that matchup. All heels, very interesting. I'm going to go with Cody Rhodes to win this just because I feel like he's put in the most work out of all of them for the company. He's done what he's needed to do, and he hasn't gotten that proper World Heavyweight title push. And I think now is the perfect time. 2013 should be the year for Cody Rhodes, and hopefully he can win this Money in the Bank ladder match. Probably expecting this to be the third most exciting matchup of the night.
Yeah, Cody Rhodes is definitely a deserving guy. I would have no problem with him winning. He'd be my second favorite. But the guy I think who makes sense to me is his actual partner, Mr. Damian Sandow. I'm going to pick him to win. I think he has the best mic skills out of anyone in the competition. I think he's the best overall package in the competition. Granted, he hasn't been been in the WWE as long as Cody Rhodes has, and yes, Cody Rhodes is deserving. But Damian Sandow, I think, is the perfect fit right now. I just love the whole total package. I think it makes much sense to me. Wouldn't mind to see Cody Rhodes win either, but I'm going to take Damian Sandow as my #1 guy.
That's probably the matchup that's the most up for grabs, though, in my opinion, on who can win, because I can totally see them going with Fandango. I can totally see Aaron's pick Damian Sandow, and I can see a guy like Antonio Cesaro winning it as well. So I'm very looking forward to that matchup. And then the next matchup is the other Money in the Bank ladder match, and it's the All-Stars matchup. You have RVD making his return to WWE, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, Randy Orton, Christian. You did have Kane, but now he's apparently injured. I'm guessing, like I predicted in my Raw review from last night, Bray Wyatt will fill in for Kane. That really doesn't change my predictions. I'm still sticking with Daniel Bryan, even though they've been showing favoritism to him the past couple weeks as he's just been on a roll lately. He just seems like the right guy at the right time, and I feel like putting him in the main event scene for the summer, it would be just awesome because I think Daniel Bryan would do a quick cash in, maybe even as early as that night, Money in the Bank. So I'm going to go with Daniel Bryan, and I'm also going to predict Brock Lesnar to interfere. Now, I don't know if exactly his music is going to cost Punk, but I feel like everybody's going to be thinking CM Punk's going to win, or he could come out and just push over the ladder. But I feel like Brock Lesnar is going to get involved somehow in this matchup to preview for Lesnar Punk at SummerSlam. But like I said, I'm taking Daniel Bryan.
I was thinking Daniel Bryan the entire way. I think he's a very deserving guy. Definitely would be a great time for him. But again, this sort of push he's getting as the overall favorite, I really don't think that we need the overall favorite to win. I don't know. I don't like predictability, especially in a match where anything can happen. You have a bunch of all-stars, and I don't know. I'm just not a fan of the predictable stuff like last year. We all knew John Cena and Dolph Ziggler were probably going to win. I'm going to go Randy Orton. I feel that Randy is more deserving than Daniel Bryan right now. I think he's had a bit of a title drought, and I think he's the ultimate guy to deserve one. I think it'd be a perfect way for him to also turn heel. I think so much can come from it. Again, I would not mind Daniel Bryan winning at all, but really, really like Randy Orton, really like him to win. The more that Kyle keeps saying it, I think it makes a lot of sense for a Brock Lesnar interference. I could definitely see CM Punk getting ready to grab it and Brock Lesnar's music or something to happen. I really think that makes a lot of sense now that I think about it. But yeah, I'm going to take Randy Orton.
So then we got our two major title matches. The first one here is the World Heavyweight Championship. The World Heavyweight Champion Alberto Del Rio faces off against Dolph Ziggler. And it doesn't make sense for WWE, at least in my opinion, to keep going with Del Rio because it's just bland and blah. It's same old shit with Alberto Del Rio. And now that he doesn't have Ricardo because of the weed smoking incident from Ricardo, he's suspended. They're saying he's injured. But I just think this whole gimmick with Del Rio is just annoying. I mean, granted, that's what heels are supposed to do, but he was annoying as a face. And I think it's rightfully Dolph Ziggler's title, and I think he's going to win it back at Money in the Bank. Probably going to be the second best matchup of the night, just because you got two athletes like Del Rio and Ziggler, he's the show stealer, and I think he's going to steal the show at Money in the Bank and win the World Heavyweight Championship.
Dolph Ziggler's my favorite wrestler, so there's obviously going to be a little bias into this, but Dolph Ziggler, I think, deserves his belt. They can't keep going with Del Rio, in my opinion. I don't agree with it whatsoever. I am not a fan of Del Rio. I really don't think they should keep going with him. I like Dolph Ziggler a lot. I think it's going to be a great match, Dolph Ziggler. And, I'll give Alberto Del Rio credit. He's talented in the ring. So these two are going to put on a show. But I also think, like Kyle, Dolph's going to steal the show, take the belt, and hopefully be champion for a little bit. So we'll see, but I'm going to take Dolph Ziggler.
Stone Cold!
That's just a random fan back there. So in the main event probably is what I'm guessing is John Cena is going to look to defend his title against Mark Henry. It's just a normal matchup there. Doesn't make sense for Mark Henry to win here. John Cena is the face of the company. It's great. A lot of people can disagree and say that Mark Henry deserves this championship run. I think he does, but I just think this isn't the right time, granted that SummerSlam is the next pay-per-view, and you don't want Mark Henry main eventing SummerSlam. So I'm going to take John Cena to win this, probably with an AA, which is an impressive feat on a big guy like Mark Henry. And I'm not expecting any type of disqualification, interference. I feel like it's going to be a clean matchup. That John Cena defends his title, and I don't see a cash-in happening.
Yeah, I'm one of those people who think Mark Henry does deserve a WWE Championship belt. But at the same time, like Kyle said, with SummerSlam being the next pay-per-view, you can't have Mark Henry main event SummerSlam. It just can't happen. really going to be it's a real dull matchup in my opinion. John Cena hasn't had a legitimate opponent, I think, in a while.
Since The Rock.
Yeah, since The Rock or even CM Punk when them two were feuding. He hasn't had any legitimate opponents. Going to be a pretty dull match in my opinion. You know, the whole highlight will be when John Cena AA's Mark Henry for the win. You know, be the fourth best match of the night. I'm going to take John Cena. Hopefully, you know, I like John Cena. I like what he stands for, but I think it's time for a new champion. So we'll see what happens at Money in the Bank. But for now, John Cena, in my opinion, will win at Money in the Bank and still be champ.
So there is our Money in the Bank predictions for July 14th, 2013. Honestly, out of the 2013 pay-per-views, it's the one I'm looking forward to the most, even ahead of WrestleMania. The way they built up this pay-per-view has just been perfect, and the return of RVD and just the opportunities that are there for young superstars. It's awesome. It's going to be a good pay-per-view, and I hope you guys enjoy it if you're watching it. Comment down below on what you think Money in the Bank is going to be like. Like and subscribe to this channel if you're already not subscribed. Follow us on Twitter right below us right here. And take it easy, guys.